Early on in the makings of Curtis Mayfield, the 27-year-old R&B pop star who directed the film and appears in it as its interviewer and tour guide, offers a telling observation about her subject. Curtis Mayfield, she declares, is one of the greatest of all time. And people don't even know. I agree with her on both counts. We'll get to the greatest of all time thing in a moment. Though if you don't know much about Curtis Mayfield and want to cut to the chase of why he was one of the greatest, I'd recommend that you simply go to YouTube and call up the 9-minute-long album version of Move On Up, which might be his most extraordinary song, though there's a lot of competition. It's built around one of those grooves that's truly epic and truly transporting. The syncopated horns, the dancing bass, the rapidly strumming guitar you only half register, though it's there in the mix like stock in a gumbo. The high violins for that touch of romance. And, more than any of that, Mayfield singing about a new world in which Black people could feel a freedom and mobility so large it was daunting. A message of liberation that the song somehow gorgeously embodies in 3 minor chords, as if it were perched, in its very harmonics, between the tragedy of the past and the promise of the future. It is quite simply one of the greatest songs ever recorded. If that's the case, though, why is it that people don't even know? Curtis Mayfield wasn't an obscure figure. He was a star of his time, winning acclaim and popular success, first with The Impressions, his honey-smooth Motown-adjacent vocal trio of the 60s. Their 1965 single, People Get Ready, was named by Martin Luther King Jr. as the unofficial anthem of the civil rights movement, then as a solo artist in the 70s, when he put out several albums that are stone classics, notably his 1970 debut, Curtis, and the 1972 soundtrack to Superfly, one of the most indelible of all movie soundtracks like the music for Saturday Night Fever. It's practically a movie unto itself, and if anything, a better movie than Superfly. Yet I think what her really means is that if Curtis Mayfield is recognized as a major artist, he isn't thought of in quite the way he should be, as a giant. As a pioneer of the sound and vibe of the 70s whose influence was impossibly large. The documentary makes the essential point that Curtis, an album shot through with social protest, was released before Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, Sly and the Family Stone's There's a Riot Going On, or Stevie Wonder's Improvisions, which are thought of as the 3 formative albums of Black social protest. Rolling Stone recently chose What's Going On as the greatest record of all time, and whether or not you agree with that, there's a bit of room for debate there. I'd argue that Curtis is an even more transcendent album. That's the level of accomplishment we're talking about.